Hey y'all, it's Jordyn Swingle with season 2 of Let's Just Be Real. I'm so excited to be bringing you a new season with a new set, so many new guests, and stories that you have to hear. So grab your best friend, sit down on your couch, and let's get to it. Well, hi, y'all. Welcome back. I took a week off. I keep doing that too, and I should apologize, but I'm not going to because your girl needed a nap, all right? I've been tired. All these teachers want to plan 40 million parties for the kids, and, you know, clients are acting a fool, but we're here tonight, and that's what matters. I do want to give you a heads up. This is going to be our last episode until January because I am adamant that I'm going to enjoy the holiday season. I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to watch some Hallmark movies. I'm going to wrap some gifts. I'm going to eat a lot of turkey. You feel me? But we're going to come back in January with more stories and all the peoples. But for today, you are in for quite the treat because I have the pleasure of interviewing a dear friend of mine who I think is not only hilarious, but he's very wise. And I think that you're going to enjoy hearing his story. And he is none other than DJ Fields.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Oh my gosh. I feel like this has been a long time coming.
I know, right?
I canceled on you twice, my B.
It's all right. I forgive you. We're here now.
I know, but I was thinking today when we were like prepping for this, that when was our first conversation?
Our first conversation was, I want to say it was like January.
Of 2024?
Of 2024. Because I still lived in Arkansas and we talked over the phone.
I'm a bad friend.
Hey, it's okay.
I really did put you on the back burner. That's on me.
No, it's okay.
So how we know each other? Well, first of all, we have all these mutual friends, which like every time we talk, I'm like, wait, you know that person? And this person knows. And on Facebook, I'm like, oh, we know all the same people.
We do.
We know a lot of same people. But we initially got in contact because you wanted to join our brokerage.
Yes.
And at the time that you were coming on, I was like, look, we're at max capacity. Like, I need to get some systems in place.
Yeah.
I need to get some, like, you know, things in order before I hire anybody else. And I'm so thankful for the timing because I think that, like, I finally, like, kind of have my bearings and we're all, like, figuring it out together. But you were so gracious to, like, totally respect that you knew I needed time and take, you know, the back seat. But then the day that you called and you were like, all right, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're joining the team.
And that's what happened. I joined the team. I was like, yep, I'm serious. Let's do it.
I know.
It took a little while.
It did. It took a little while, but God's timing. Yep. It's better than mine. So I honestly don't know a bunch of the answers to the questions that I'm about to ask you. So, like, okay. I'm excited to get to know the parts of you that I don't know because we don't get a lot of, like, one-on-one time, you know, because we're always in a meeting or, you know, doing things on that stuff. But every time I talk to you, I learn something about you that I'm fascinated by. And I think you have a really cool perspective. I also think you're very humble. Like, if you don't know something fully, you don't, like, BS your way through it.
Oh, yeah, no.
Which, like, I could learn some of that because I'll just be BSing my way through everything. But so where did you grow up? Where are you from?
So I grew up, like, it's kind of interesting. So, like,
I love it.
Me and my mom, we lived in, I don't know too much about my, like, younger years and where we were because we was, like, in Springtown, Fort Worth. But what I can remember is my granny lived in Bedford, and then we moved in with my granny, and we lived there for a little bit while her and my stepdad were working to get the house that we're in now in Keller. Okay. And so ever since 2009, I've been in Keller. So that's me.
Do you know what's so funny is that I lived in Bedford, and then I lived in Keller.
Really?
Yeah, I lived in Bedford until I was in 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Keller in 4th grade. Mm-hmm. I went to school in 4th and 5th and then came back in 6th to Bedford. Chisholm Trail.
Chisholm Trail in Keller?
Intermediate.
Where's that at? What is that? What, do you know what high school it's zoned for?
I want to say Fossil Ridge.
Oh,
I was in the hood, baby. Okay, I was in that side of the tracks, okay? No, I loved it, though. Like, those schools out there, HEB is great, but, like, Keller buildings,
Keller has come a long way.
It has.
It has come a long way. It's, like, much more diverse now, even from whenever I grew up, you know, in Keller, I see.
Yeah.
So it's a great school district.
So you grew up right around the corner. What do you remember about Keller, like, just growing up in that area? one of the things that I want to talk to you about that I think, you know, we've talked about a lot is just like growing up around different kinds of people and learning things from different kinds of people and having different perspective, right? And I love to hear other people's stories. Like that's why I do this. But I love to hear like your earliest interactions with people in like a positive way, a negative way. Like what's like the best thing that you could say about growing up in Keller?
Honestly, I could say like the best thing was like the education. The education there is like really, really good.
Yeah.
Like that's something that no matter what, like I can't take away from Keller ISD. Like they do have some good education. They do have some classes like, you know, they have, once you get to high school level, they have KCAL. And that's where you take, it's like Keller Advanced Learning. So like you have like your entrepreneurship courses there. You have your
automotive. Did you take that?
I did take entrepreneurship.
I knew you did.
Yep. I took it, but the one I took was at my high school, Timber Creek. So
okay.
What I took at KCAL was vet med because your boy thought he wanted to be a veterinarian until he realized like
no.
Yeah, no. And so I'm glad I took that class because I was able to realize, okay, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
I tried to like, we had to like put a dog, like not put a dog down, but lay them down. And so you have to grab them by their like hind legs. And it's like a technique that you use. Like them big dogs, how you do that?
Every time you come to my house and you're like, I'm going outside to play with the dogs.
Yeah, I love your dogs.
Could you imagine having to like put one down? Nope, can't talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about that. That's why I didn't get into that one.
Yeah.
But Keller ISD was really good. The education there was really good. Like overall, I didn't have like too many like negative interactions. It was there, but I didn't have like too many.
Yeah. And I feel like you're a pretty amicable person. Like I feel like you're very likable. But I know that education is something that's very important for you. We've talked about that and how, like, you know, I never wanted to be a teacher, but I love to teach. I love to educate, and especially on things that I'm passionate about.
Right.
What do you feel like you learned in, like, your entrepreneurship classes and those things that, like, really benefited you?
I learned that your boy is unemployable. Like, genuinely, I've had so many jobs in my entire life, and the only one that I've been good at is what I do for myself and my clients. Like working for other people, like it's not that I'm like a bad employee. It's just like when something don't make sense, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
And like
we're very similar.
I tell people about it, like in the most respectful way.
Yeah.
But corporate America don't like that. They say like, you know, an open door policy.
Well, welcome to feedback.
Yeah. No.
Like, no, you're not.
You ain't.
No, you're not.
So yeah, I did learn that about the corporate world real fast.
Yeah.
But because I used to just be very vocal, like about like my opinions, and you know, I thought it was valued, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so as I got older, I just kind of realized, and I had a mentor. That he told me, he was like, "Bruh, you're just unemployable," and I was like, "You know what?
Wear that with freaking honor."
Yeah, I was
because
like, "That is so
you're
true."
You're gonna be the one employing people one day.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and I love like, you know, I'm excited about employing people because I know what kind of employer I would be. You know, I would actually love feedback.
I love that. Yeah, I love feedback, but then I'm like, oh, don't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Because like I'm building this from the ground up. Like, please be nice. I know we're set to do y'all's year interviews, and I'm like, everybody's so nervous, but I'm gonna ask for feedback, and I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna cry. Somebody's gonna hurt my feelings. I'm gonna cry.
I feel like everybody's gonna be like, you're doing great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But so something that you and I share is the education aspect, which I appreciate because I feel like it's something that has driven you in your decision making. What do you wish that you had as a child in the education model that you didn't have?
Honestly, like that's a great question that I've never thought about the answer to. So I'm gonna think about that.
Think about it.
So
that's fine.
I feel like even though it's tough to say because like Keller IC, they did offer a lot of programs, but I didn't know about a lot of the programs.
Yeah.
So if you offer it, but kids don't know about it, it's like, it's not good, you know? And so for me, I feel like there was so much untapped and missed potential that I could have had if I would have known, like, this is what it's like real deal. And maybe worked on my focus. Maybe I needed to just focus and look in and do the research. Maybe I just didn't, you know, do the research, but how can you do
who's
research
doing research
on something?
At 16?
Yeah, you know? And so I just wish I knew, like, about the different opportunities and maybe just, like, had someone come in and talk about the different programs because nobody came in and talked about the programs that they offer.
We need to do a career day.
We do.
Okay, we'll tap that for later. Okay, so I love that. I love that about you because I do think that that's something that drives you. Like currently, I see those things that you think about and the way you treat people and like I don't know. I think that that's really important to you. And I think that it comes through in the way that you do real estate. Like you're constantly trying to better yourself and educate yourself so that you can educate other people. And I think that that is like a lost art. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
Okay. So back to your like personal life. You're married to a beautiful woman.
Yes.
How did you meet her?
So we met on TikTok.
What?
Yes, we met on TikTok. And so,
are you lying? What do you mean?
We met on TikTok. So, like, her video popped up on my For You page, and Sarah is going.
Wait, Sarah's a TikToker?
Sarah is going to claim that this is not what the video was about. The video is now since taken down, but the video was about how she liked black guys. Okay, well, let me rephrase it. How she likes funny black guys.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. It's not just about how she likes black guys, but it's about how she likes funny black guys. And, you know, I fit the criteria, I think. And so all of Black America was in the comments trying to shoot their shot.
Wait, did it like go viral?
It went viral. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yep. And all of Black America was in them comments, and she was getting them bad boys, but I had to be different.
So what'd you do?
So I went and I followed her on Instagram because she had her Instagram on her TikTok, and I followed her, but I'm still a young boy, so you know, I still got an ego.
Wait, for the record, how old are you?
I'm 23 now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this time I was like 19. And so basically she didn't follow me in time. So my ego got struck a little bit.
So you unfollowed her?
I unfollowed that girl.
You are petty.
I unfollowed that girl. Like, I'm gonna take my follow back. You think I'm about to be following somebody that ain't following me back? Nope.
Wait. I didn't follow you back for the longest time.
And you know,
I'm so terrible at following people back.
You did, but you had 16,000 friends. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let it slide because one day she gonna follow me back.
For real, how many times did you unfollow me before I followed you back? I'm just kidding. I don't want to answer that.
Like,
okay.
Maybe once.
Oh my God, you are petty. Okay, so you follow her, you unfollow
anybody,
her.
Local, not local. Like,
wait,
hey.
Like, did she get notified that you unfollowed her?
No, but she saw my notification come through and she thought I was cute, so she followed me. And so then I followed her back, and she liked all my pictures. So then I liked all her pictures, and your boy slid in the DMs. Modern day
dating.
I slid in DMs, and I hit her with that. I don't usually do this often.
And you full of crap.
I did it often.
Oh my God.
That was a Deitrich feels regular.
I love that. Okay, so you shoot your shot on your DMs, and then like, when did you start dating? How did that? I'm always curious on how does it leave the DMs?
That day was
this is me, elder millennial. I've been married for almost 11 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna really put all our business out
Come
there.
on.
We said I love you like 3 days later.
No, we
did. We said I love you like 3-4 days later. It was wild. And
we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah. So basically, like, this is like. Whenever I went to DM Sarah, I said, let me go get my wife real quick. I did not know I was actually going to get my wife. But I got my wife, right? And so I slid in her DMs. I said, let me go get my wife. And then she responded. And then we were going back and forth. And then, like, she just ghosted me out of nowhere that night. And so
did she simply go to sleep?
No, she was drunk.
Oh, Sarah, bad girl.
Yeah, she was.
Wait, how old was she?
That's not important. That's not important.
Keep going.
But no, she was living their life. And so the next morning, and so mind you, I was kind of going back and forth with another girl about the same time as Sarah. So the next morning, so this other girl was like a day before Sarah. And so the next morning, Sarah responded. And so she was like, sorry, I went to sleep, da-da-da. And so we started talking more. And that same day, I told the other girl, because I was planning, the other girl lived in San Antonio. And we were planning to like meet up somewhere. And I told her, I was like, hey, I found somebody. I'm sorry. I said that. I was like, I'm sorry. I found somebody. This ain't going to work out. I'm so sorry. I don't think we should meet.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Because I have.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that honesty.
It had only been like maybe 14 hours that me and Sarah were. it hadn't been a full day.
Decisive man. He said, I know what I want.
I knew it. Even though this girl lived in Jonesboro, Arkansas, 7 hours away from me, which is crazy. But
wait, I didn't know she lived in Arkansas when y'all started dating.
Mm-hmm. And so a couple days later, we made it official over FaceTime.
This is wild.
Yep. And
so how long after you started dating did you get married?
6 months after we knew each other. Yep. 6 months. And I went out there for the first time because this was January 9th. I went out there for the first time February 13th for Valentine's Day. I flew out there. I didn't tell my family how we met because I would not have been allowed to go out to Jonesboro, Arkansas to meet this complete stranger.
No.
I gotta get a flight.
And you're 19?
I'm 19.
No.
Yep. And so I went out there. I was terrified. The whole time I was thinking about the movie Get Out. I was like, what if like it's like, what if I get taken? Like I'm 7 hours away from my family.
Jonesboro, Arkansas, where all the white people are, and I'm getting taken.
Nobody had my location back then.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, it was wild. And so I went out there. Her and her mom and her sister and her brother all picked me up from the airport. It was cool. And
they were gonna jump you if you weren't right.
Yeah, they probably would have. I ain't gonna lie. But so I went out there, and I got her this promise ring. And so
y'all had been talking for a month.
Dating. But we knew each other for a month. It's crazy. I know.
Okay.
So I got her a promise ring, and she's she loved it. And then the day before I left, she was like, "Let's just go get married in Vegas." And I was like,
"Y'all are both insane.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, let's do it." I was about to laugh. We was gonna get married in Vegas. We weren't gonna tell nobody. But me being me and me being like the granny's boy that I am, I told my granny.
And your granny put a full halt to that.
My granny said, "I'm so happy you're getting married. You need to tell your family." And so I was like, ah. And she was like, either you tell them or I'm going to tell them.
Oh my God.
And so I ended up telling our family that we were engaged and that we were going to get married.
You got engaged in a month in?
Well, I counted that as an engagement. We knew,
you're like, we're getting married.
Yeah. No ring yet besides a promise ring. And so I officially proposed whenever she graduated high school. Cause
wait. Oh my God, she was still in high school.
But you had to think.
How old was she?
She was 17. So you got to think.
We can't air this. We can't air this.
Yes, hey, listen, I'm class of 2020. She was class of 2021. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had just turned.
How long after y'all started dating did she turn 18?
She turned 18 in July.
Oh my God.
We got married 2 weeks after her 18th birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
She moved to Texas the day after her 18th birthday. Her birthday's July 3rd.
So y'all did long distance the whole time. You did long distance the whole time. You were together 6 months before you got engaged or married. She was 18. Then she moved to Texas. Oh my God.
That girl moved to Texas, yeah.
If I'm her parent, I'm like, this is going a little fast.
Yeah, well, both of our families thought that. Everybody. My mom was like, you're taking her womanhood away and da-da-da. Let me preface, that girl lived a little more life than I did, okay?
She's
love
she's
you,
fine.
Man. Yeah, no,
she's fine.
Sarah's like, I lived enough life to know that I'm ready for this.
Oh my God. Okay, so you get married. You move to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
She moves to Texas. How long did y'all live in Texas before? Because eventually you moved back to Arkansas.
Right. So we lived in Texas. So that was July of 2021. We moved to Arkansas in November of 2022.
Okay.
And then we lived there for a little bit. And then we moved back to Texas in March of 2024.
Okay, so what prompts the move back to Arkansas?
So honestly, we felt led. Sarah went to this church camp every single year, and so we taught it together. And we had our own little group. And after that, I said, you know what? Let's move back to Arkansas. I really felt called. I thought I felt called to go back to Arkansas.
You did.
Yep. And so Sarah, of course, was all down for it. Mm-hmm. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we planned. And
for those of you who've never been to Jonesboro, Arkansas.
They don't like me.
No, but ain't nothing in Jonesboro,
there
Arkansas.
Ain't nothing.
Not to hate on. My family's from Paragould, which is like
20 minutes.
Right around the corner.
Minutes, yeah.
And every time we go, we stay in the one hotel that they got. They might have 2 hotels now.
Oh, yeah, they got quite a bit coming up in Paragould. Well, I still slightly keep up.
Well, okay, so.
The people still ain't grown, but
no.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you moved back because you felt called, and also that's where she's from.
Mm-hmm. And it was just good for us to see, where we wanted to, have our families and stuff like that. And so we moved to Jonesboro, and we're there for about, I want to say it was a year and 4 months. We bought our first house out there for $185 in Jonesboro.
Gotta love that Arkansas real estate.
Oh my gosh,
so cheap.
I know.
So why did you initially move back? Because you were going to go and be a youth pastor, right?
Well, we moved back because we were going to start a young adults ministry, like class at the church she grew up at.
Okay. Was that an invitation from the church, or was this like an idea that you
It was
came
an
up
idea,
with?
And they were very like receptive of it, and they loved it, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And so they were, on board with it.
Okay, so what we're about to talk about, I don't want to discredit an entire people group, right? Jonesboro has great people too.
Of course.
But what happened that caused you to move back to Texas?
I mean, when we moved to Jonesboro, it was like one thing after another from like just the way we were treated. Within the real estate industry, I mean, my clients were great because like the people that, knew me, loved me, and trusted me. But the other people, like, and again, like you said, not prefacing it, not putting everybody in one caliber.
Yeah.
But whenever you just move to a place and you have so many bad interactions, it just feels overwhelming.
Was the main pushback that you guys were an interracial couple?
I think the biggest pushback was that, I think it was a couple things. I'm young. I'm not from there.
Yeah.
And, that town didn't like people coming from places that you ain't from. Mm-hmm. And so, 3, I'm Black, obviously. And then, of course, we're in an interracial marriage, which a lot of people, which I didn't even know people viewed interracial marriages as this in some places and some people.
Yeah.
But they view it as a sin. And so, yeah, that was something that was brought up a couple times. Yeah.
It brought up, someone said, vocalized out loud, you being married to a white woman is a sin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Just to fact check those people, that's not in the Bible.
Oh, no.
Anywhere, nor is it even remotely biblical. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like a lot of stuff like that. The first interaction, I had a team lead, and I was very excited because someone told me, if you're going to move to a place that you're not from, you should probably join a team. Maybe they'll have leads, that kind of stuff. This guy, he provided a couple leads, and he did provide. He does provide it regularly for his team. He puts you up on a billboard, like the whole team is on the billboard and
Were
stuff
you on
like
a billboard?
That. I was on the billboard. It was pretty cool. I was like, hey, that's me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was in Paragould, so because that's where the office was. But this team lead in particular, he was just different. I don't know that. I'm not going to sit here and say he had like ill intentions because I don't know his true intentions, but there were some things that were said that made me feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like whenever I would talk to one of my clients that was African American, and I love her to pieces. I still keep in touch with her. But it was her first time buying a house, and she was buying it with her husband, and she didn't understand something that was going on with the loan process. And so I was explaining it to her. He was right there, so I had her on speaker, and he took the phone, explained it, got off the phone, and then he was just like, "I can't stand talking to foreign people."
Foreign people?
Foreign people. And the thing about it is, like, she's not foreign. I mean, she Black. She ain't foreign.
She ain't foreign. She's from here.
She's from here. Yeah. And so it was just like little remarks like that he would make. I remember once I had left the team and I went to a different brokerage because after that situation, it wasn't that situation that led me to another brokerage. It was a combination of things. Yeah. It was a combination of things. But I was going to show one of his listings, and whenever he didn't answer, so then he called me back and he said, "Sorry, I didn't answer your call. I was being chased in the forest by Jeffrey Dahmer." Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Dahmer.
How do you respond to that?
You laugh it off because you don't want to start anything.
Because you don't want to lose the leads and the things. And that is something that I have such a hard time with people being like, well, why don't you say anything? Well, because it's my livelihood. Yeah. And I have to pay my bills and provide for my family. And the person in power is this person. Yeah.
It was a lot. And what led me away from like that team in particular was I was working a job as an insurance agent somewhere, and that lady let me go because she blamed it on real estate. I'm never going to take that, it is what it is. And so then I went and got a job at this property management company. It was like this guy, he buys his own properties, but under his LLC. And it's kind of like if you worked at an apartment complex. We only leased those homes.
Okay.
And so it's not like we managed any other properties outside of that. But I didn't understand the stigma behind it. Now I do. Let me preface that it can maybe sometimes be like a conflict of interest and stuff like that, which I totally understand now that I've done my own research. But basically, this guy, he was like, you need to quit that job. And I was like, I'm not going to quit this job. I'm like, I got to provide for my family.
Yeah.
And he was like, what family? It's just you and your wife. And I'm like, that is my family.
Yeah, that's my unit.
And basically, the broker, they just basically gave me an ultimatum. Either I quit my job or they're going to turn my license in and I can no longer be with them. And so I chose to let them terminate my license.
In the state of Arkansas.
In the state of Arkansas, like I would just go to another brokerage. And so I found another brokerage that seemed like a really good fit. Let me preface, wives are typically right. Sarah got some bad feelings about this other brokerage. And I was like, no, everybody's nice. What are you, everything's good. And, it was fine in the beginning. And so that led to its own experience. That was just like crazy.
It's so hard. First of all, because I can't empathize, right? Like, I'm white. Most people are fine with that.
You are?
What?
This is news. I think I'm at the wrong podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
But I have family members who are African American, and I have we're a multiracial family, and there's a lot of ignorant comments that have been made that I like can get very like overly defensive and very loud about, and I've learned that that's not always the most helpful posture. Do you ever get tired of like correcting people and educating people about like Black culture and just how things should be said and done?
I mean, I personally don't even like it depends on who it is for me to educate.
Yeah.
Like of course, me and my wife we're a biracial family, so like. My wife, I will correct, you know, out of love, of course, because I know she doesn't mean anything.
Sometimes it's just ignorance. Yeah.
And like her family, depending on the closeness, I will correct because, you know, their grandson, their family and their grandson is, you know,
African American.
Exactly. But like I just don't correct everyone because it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
And from my experience, they don't care. And I say I'm talking about the people that I've experienced it with.
Yeah.
Like this is who, like these individuals, once again, you know.
Yeah, we're not painting with a broad brush.
But the people that I have corrected and the people that I've tried to have that conversation with, like that's just who they are and they don't care. And I'm too sensitive.
Me too.
Yeah.
I get really riled up. There's this like thought that there's two kinds of people that love justice and people that love mercy. And I lean way heavy to the justice side. I'm not always a merciful person.
Yeah.
And especially like, you know, with all the stuff that happened in 2020 and just like all the things that were going on in the world and how heightened it was.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time giving grace to someone who was just simply uneducated on it. I just was like, it's your responsibility as a person to understand, you know, and try to empathize with the people group who feel very persecuted at this moment.
Yeah.
But then I also was like, there are more, in my opinion, and this is where I want to learn from you, more positive interactions in my day-to-day than there are negative, right? In our family with being multiracial. But would you agree in Jonesboro, like, did it feel like you were constantly up against this battle, or was it?
It was like something that I felt like was just, it was a lot. It took a toll on me. I couldn't be, you know, there as a husband that I needed to be. And it took a toll on my marriage.
Yeah.
And it almost became, and these experiences should not define you.
Yeah.
But it almost became like it defined me, my personality. And it became a constant state of unhappiness because it was just like one thing after another.
Well, and it's very hard to feel like you're the only person being singled out, you know, and when you're in a room full of white people and you're the only person that's being spoken to a certain type of way, I can imagine how disheartening that would feel.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else has totally different interactions with the same individual that you have, a bad interaction
with. Did people make you feel like you were going crazy?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't actually happening?
Yeah. Because like they just didn't understand, they didn't have to walk it and they didn't see it. So it's at that point, their word versus mine. And so that became like a really big thing. And so it was real rough.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm really sorry that happened. Yeah, and it probably has still happened and stuff. But I think conversations like these is how you educate people.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that's like kind and gracious and not down your throat and, right. Shameful in those kind of ways. And some people need to be ashamed of their actions, though. Let's get it for real. But
I do think your approach and like leading with grace and love is just very, very important. Now, it's hard sometimes. Like my gangster want to come out sometimes. Mm-hmm. But then I remember I was raised in Keller. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what gangster is it?
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. I mean, I was taught that you treat everyone with respect and kindness. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have a prosthetic leg. I'm not Black, but I do know what it feels like to be different and to be singled out in ways that feels not good. Yeah. There are certain people in my life that can make one leg jokes and I roll with it and I'm like, yeah, because it's funny, right? And I'm able to laugh. There are some people that I'm like, you do it again, I'm gonna pop you in the head with this metal leg. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's hard to not feel like that one thing like pigeonholes you and defines you.
Right.
But I also think like I have become so passionately about like everyone is made in the image of God. Mm-hmm. Like every color, every race, every tribe, every tongue, like in the image of God.
I know it sounds cliche, but we do all believe right. Like 100%. I know that's what everybody says. Like, everybody says it, but it's true. Yeah.
And the fact that like someone's tone of skin could make them in someone's eyes a lesser version of a human is something I have a really hard time comprehending.
It was really disheartening. And I think even sometimes whenever I see things on the internet, stuff like that really bunks me down way more than what I wish it did.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times I have to realize like, okay, the media wants, like
they want division.
They want division. Like even during like all of the stuff with like the BLM, they were only showing the riots and you weren't really seeing much of the peaceful protest that was going on.
Or the conversations that were happening. I had so many conversations.
It was real love going on back then, but we didn't see any of it, you know? And so I have to keep that in mind too, because, if you only see the bad, it's going to get you riled up.
Right.
And so I have to kind of bring myself to reality sometimes.
I always try, even especially in just like the election and all the things that have gone on, and like get off of social media, turn the TV off, go outside and have a conversation face to face with someone. And you will understand what's actually going on in the world, right? Like the media stokes things in ways and spins things that...
And edits it.
And botches it and all the things. And not that it's all fake. Some of it is happening. But a lot of it is blown out of proportion and meant to drive you into anxiety and fear. And I don't think that's what God wants from us. I think conversation, learning from one another, and also hearing someone else's story. Like, I remember when you told me the first time about Arkansas, I wanted to burn the whole state to the ground. Yeah. That's my initial reaction. Yeah. And it's wicked, right? Like instead of, that image bearer also sins, and like, let me explain to them why this is a sin and how biblically, if you trying to call yourself a believer,
it don't line up.
These things don't match, right? Because God says that with the same mouth that you curse or that you praise God, you curse men made in his likeness. So what you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's real backwards sometimes.
But I'm like, let's bust some heads over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not godly either. Like, he's like, hey, you got a problem too. So it's hard and it's challenging. And I think it's a very human experience that is unfortunate. But also, I think that God uses it in ways of like, I know how it feels to be treated poorly. Yeah. I don't ever want to make someone feel that way.
Right.
I want to go out of my way to ensure that no one feels the way that I felt, you know? And for your child.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the most disheartening point of it all is, and what really was the determining factor, is we just did not want to raise our son out there because we didn't want our son to see the things that I had to go through. I don't necessarily think like Ezra is going to have like the issues that I had to the depth. But
homie is light-skinned.
Yeah, he's real light. So, if you pick what I'm putting down, my melanin didn't come in there, okay? It wasn't a part of the transfer. But I still don't want him to see me go through that, and I don't want him to go through that. And so the idea, because, at the end of the day, he's still a black man. So the idea of having to have that conversation with him that's
really hard.
It's really tough.
Yeah. But I commend you, and there's wisdom in, like, trying to stick it out, but then also, like, hey, this doesn't benefit our family. We need to remove ourselves from the situation. And
I stuck it out for so long to where at some point we were just like, it's just Tom.
Yeah.
My family were like, it's Tom.
Yeah. But I feel like God honored that obedience, and it's been evident that this is where y'all are supposed to be. And your impact here has been so big already, even in the short amount of time y'all have been back. But, well, it's helpful for us to have these conversations. It's helpful to hear from you and to understand that, like, racism isn't completely gone, and it's an active decision to treat other people with kindness, and whatever situation you're in, and not assume things about people just simply because of the way that they look,
Right.
So, wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
What do you want for yourself and your family in the next 5 years?
Okay. So the first thing is I want us to buy a house in Texas. I know we already bought our house and sold it and stuff like that in Arkansas, but I really want us to buy our house 4 bedrooms.
He said, here's my
I'm throwing a number
list.
out there.
All right.
4 bedrooms. And I just want to be able to provide a life for my family through real estate. I want to be able to provide a life that my wife loves. One of her things that she wants to do is be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's always the goal. And so I really do want to make that happen for her, because I think we can all agree that the education system is corrupt and is probably only getting worse with all the things that's going on. And so for her to have that flexibility with our son, to be able to be there for him, I think it's important.
It's something
that I didn't see it as important before as I do now. Yeah. That we've had, like, these real conversations about it, and the things that have been going on in the world around us has been like eye-opening. And so that I want to just, I love what I do. So I want to just keep helping clients. Like, that is, like, my clients are also my why. Like, just like helping them accomplish their goals, because I know if I help you accomplish your goal, like, that is a part of my goal. So in a sense, I'm also accomplishing mine.
I love that.
And so I'm very passionate about all of the things, real estate and business owner, and inspiring my son. Like, I really want to be able to see a toy and buy it. I don't want him to struggle. I don't want, I think my parents did a really good job at providing me everything that I could have ever wanted. Yeah. And more. And some would say a little bit too much. All right. Some people would say he didn't need to get everything that he wanted like that.
Wait, but can I ask you, so for real, who got the bow tie thing started? DJ normally wears bow ties all the time. Any professional event, he's showing up, he's got a bow tie on.
I don't know. I just like bow ties, because, like, a tie is way too formal.
But, like, a bow tie is, like, approachable.
A bow tie is, like, approachable. It's cool. It's like, whenever I put a bow tie on, I feel like, okay, I'm approachable. I'm down to earth.
I love it. Yeah. It does make you seem approachable. I will say, like, a tie is very, like,
formal.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sarah the other day, because, like, I want to, like, get into, like, the luxury market. And you look at a lot of the luxury agents. I said, Sarah, I ain't even cut out for luxury. I think I'm gonna stick to my first time home buyers, because I love it. Like, that's my thing. And so I'm like, I don't want to wear no tie. I gotta look like $1 million.
Do you know how often I show up in, like, I like go work out and then I go to an inspection or something? Like, it's always funny, because I call it the switch up. Like, the first time I meet a client, I go have coffee with them. I'm dressed to the nines. The next time they're like, are you?
You're the same person?
Jordyn? Like, are you sure? Because that's not what you look like. Yeah, hold on a second. But once I get comfortable with you, like, I'm gonna show up. You gonna get it as it is, And that's not always as well received in the luxury markets. Which, fine, whatever. No, I'm chilling with my down to earth people. Like,
yeah, me too. Like, I feel like it's definitely a great, like, market. Yeah. But, like, typically speaking, like, you do have to, like, they want you to, like, dress up and look the part. If you're going to be selling $1 million house, they want you to look like $1 million. Like, that's great, but like, I'm just me.
I know. Well, and I think, and not that there's not people that are affluent that need people that, like, fight for them, but I am it goes back to that justice side. Like, I'm always for the underdog. And I'm always like, how can I make this happen for someone that maybe didn't know that it could happen for themselves?
Absolutely.
And that drives me and makes me work harder. And I think we share in that a lot. But yeah, it's
You're
tricky.
A bull of an agent.
Oh, I am.
And me too. Like, that's what I always like. It's so funny. I'm like such a bull. Like, I negotiate everything.
Oh, I'll push you until you right on the edge of that cliff if it's going to benefit my client. 100%. Yeah.
I'm getting all the information you accidentally telling me.
Oh, my God. Oh my, that's so funny that you said that, because I just chum it up, man. Yeah. I'll just be like, yeah, and what about this, blah, blah, blah. And they just be yapping. Yeah. And I'm steady taking notes. Like, and when we get to that option period, you dang sure I'm going to ask for all those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. But I think also just like our background helps us in that way. But I do love to hear you talk about your why and how passionately you are. And just also like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Like, you really are out here chasing the American dream. Like, you want to provide for your family a home that's safe. And you want your wife to feel cared for, and you want your child to have the best foundation and starting point. Like, if that's not the boiled down American dream, like, I really don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that, because I genuinely think that you're one of those people that like will not stop until it happens.
Oh yeah, no. It's hard some days, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think God honors hard work too.
He does.
So another thing I wanted to talk about, because faith is a huge thing that we talk about in the team all the time. When did you come to know Jesus?
I've always been raised in it.
Yeah.
So whenever I was, I want to say I was like 12 and a half to 13.
Yeah.
My granny started her church.
Yeah.
And me being 13, I didn't know what I was doing or saying. I said, I want to teach a children's church. So what I do at 13, start teaching the children's church. And I will honestly say, like, those moments are what kept me steadfast.
Yeah.
And the pressure of being the children's church teacher at 13 years old, like, as much of it was a lot of pressure.
That's so
it
funny.
Also kept me like a goody two shoe. Like it kept me like good. Like it kept me on a straight and narrow road.
And learning these things.
Because like there would be some days I learned the same day those kids learned, because like I'm 13.
Wait, who put you in charge?
Yeah, like
but I love it. Like
I'm 13, so like we figured it out together, and I promise you, they had a word every single week, and we prayed.
I love that.
But I didn't go to too many children's church, you know, and so I didn't have a lot of like options. Like I didn't see that growing up. Like my granny always like talked to me about God, and I always knew that God was real, and I was always in church in some way, whether I went to my granny's church or my parents, like, you know, they're not like they were not at this point like regular churchgoers. Like we go to church for a while, and then, you know, we wouldn't, and then we go to church for a while. Yeah. And then sometimes we go to my granny's church, the churches that she'd go to. But whenever she started her own, it's whenever we all started really going to church every Sunday. Yeah. And so from there, I just did it. And then whenever I was 14, a year later, my granny said, all right, because I said, I want to be a minister. The next week, I come to church. My whole family's there. My girlfriend at the time is there. And like everybody's there. And my granny comes and she says, I'm going to ordain you as a youth minister. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And
at 14.
At 14, yep. And so I did that. So
she was the one giving you this boldness to fly to freaking Arkansas, give a promise ring a month in. My granny is bold. Accelerated, man.
That woman is like the definition of leading, like, you know, following faith. Like lead with faith. Like if I ain't got nothing, I got my faith in. Because I got Jesus, I got everything I need. And you know what? Like it doesn't matter what she's going through. She conquers it and she overcomes it. And
I love that.
She does it with grace. And so like, whenever I was 17, I graduated high school a year early because I got an accident. Decided it was best that I graduated a year early so I don't drop out.
There you go.
And so, which I don't think my parents even know about that. The reason why I wanted to graduate a year early was because 5 days after my 16th birthday, I was hit by a car riding my bike to school, and so that was really rough. And so I was going in and out of doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And school just was not, like, it just was no longer.
So how did you graduate early?
Since you can graduate, like, at Timber Creek or Keller ISD, you can graduate in 3 years if you want to. Because you take your senior level classes your junior year. And so you basically double up.
You doubled up on your curriculum so that you could
graduated a year early because I felt like, and there were some credits like you don't need 4 sciences, you don't need 4 maths. So I just needed that third. And so for me, it was just like I felt like if I did not graduate, I would have like probably dropped out. And so because school just was not my thing. And
so you're like, let me just get it over with.
Yeah, let me just get it over with. And so that's what I did. And I low-key wish I didn't because I feel like I kind of left my friends hanging for COVID. Because COVID was the next year. I graduated in 2019. And so my original class was 2020. And COVID was right there.
Bro,
and
you were in high school and I was out here filing for unemployment because I couldn't go shoot a wedding.
Well,
that's wild.
I know.
That's so wild.
Because we're 10 years apart, right?
Boy, don't age me. I'm only 32.
Okay.
I'll be 33 in like 2 months. Okay, so, wow. You are such an achiever. You're like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to power through it. I'm going to do it. Like,
yeah. I thought I could do that with college, but it ain't working out for you, boy.
Because you're trying to build a career and go to college. Listen, you might want to shield your children's ears. I don't think college is worth it.
I mean, it's not unless you want to do something where you need a degree.
Where you have to have a degree. I think degrees are becoming more and more obsolete. I'm going to tell you. Because you have all these kids that get out... Kids, no offense. They get out of college and they have college, but they have no work experience.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about what they're needing to be doing. And then they flail. And they have they've been in school their whole lives.
Yeah.
That's all they know. And now you want them to go and be go-getters and you know, self-starters and all these things. And you've told them what to do every single day of their life for their entire life. Yeah.
And like for a lot of people who like, even whenever you get out of college, like our employment rates right now are just not good.
In the trash.
Yeah. And so like a lot of my friends that are now graduating, like they're having the hardest time of finding a job. Unless you're in one of a more job steady field like education or, you know, things like that.
Doctors.
Yeah.
But even that, it's hard. And I mean, I think it's sad because a lot of people are, well, and we're conditioned.
Yeah.
You go to high school and then you go to college.
And let's face it, whenever you graduate college or even high school, you need someone to take a shot on you. But nobody wants to really take a shot on the new guy, you know. I'm
going to say something that's a hot button. I think sales is the only safe job.
Yeah.
And just for people like us. Like, I'm like, what you said about being unemployable, like, I've had so many jobs.
Yeah.
And I hated it. The only job I've ever liked is working for myself.
And society tries to make you kind of feel bad. Oh,
yeah.
job
you're
hopper,
a failure. You're a failure.
No, it's like...
No, if I had someone sit me down and say, hey, these are the characteristics that you're really good at. These are the things you suck at. Let's lean into this.
Yeah.
Grow these things, but like let's lean into this heavy, and you might be more successful. We all have different gifts
and like talents and stuff like that. So,
but no, we're meant to be little robots and be exactly the same, and I hate that. Okay, that's totally a tangent. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. We do this all the time. Every time you and I start talking, we go.
We're talking about. So I graduated. Yeah, I graduated a year early. You know, I went to college. I went to Tarrant County for a year. And then after Tarrant County, I went to Texas Tech for a semester. And then I moved back home.
Oh, we're talking about your granny's church.
Yep, my granny's church. So, yeah. There we go. Yeah, so I did that. And then whenever I graduated at 17, my granny said, okay, you're going higher. And I was like, okay, you know, let me pray about it, you know, all that stuff. And so she, you know, a little bit later, I became a youth pastor. And granted, there was nobody under me besides like the students that I led, of course. But you know, you still got your different roles.
How unorthodox it is. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, but whenever I became a youth pastor, of course, if you have like a pastor, like in my church, if you have a pastoral role, that puts you like, not that it matters, but you're above like the minister. So like you're next in line from like the senior pastor, you know, kind of thing. And then you have an associate pastor and stuff like that. But I was the youth pastor, and I've just always been around kids. I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
Great grandkid of like 35.
35 great grandchildren. Y'all really took be fruitful and multiply to heart.
Yep, I know they did.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, but I love that your granny called out in you those characteristics and like cultivated that in you. I think that your leadership skills obviously can be attributed back to her too,
right.
and your parents, but
of course.
Back to her.
My mom was a strong self-starter, or is, I say was. My mom is a self-starter. She worked in corporate America for about 13, 14 years at JP Morgan Chase. Mm-hmm. And then she just stopped cold turkey and she became a mortgage loan officer.
And she's killing it.
And she's killing it.
I love that. I love that. I love hearing where people come from because it helps me understand where they're at now and where they're going. And I think that you are going big places, DJ.
Thank you.
And I love getting a front row seat at it. And I just think you are only 23. And if I had started where you're at now, I'd be a millionaire. But no, but I would understand myself a little bit more and I would have more discernment and clear vision. And, and I just think you have you've lived a lot of life in a short amount of time. And you really are one of those people that just take life by the cojones and just live. And I love that about you. And you've been a very sweet addition to our team. You're the only guy. Yeah. And aside from Dylan. And I just love hearing your perspective. And I don't know. I'm just really proud to know someone like you.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Okay.
It's an honor to be a part of the team.
We could yap all night long, and I know us, and we would. So I'm going to roll it out. But I have one random question. Okay. Let me think in my brain what I want to ask you. If you could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be? Go.
Oh my gosh. Anyone alive or dead? Based on recent.
Just anything.
Okay, John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
I would just love to pick his brain. I feel like he was probably one of the greatest presidents that we've had.
I love it.
Based on my research. Research could be wrong. I wouldn't
lie. People
gonna
be in the comments
I know.
Read this article. Read this article.
I know. I wouldn't lie whenever he was the president.
Run anything else for us, okay? Somebody has to be good in the world. No, I love that answer. And I love you, and I'm really grateful that you sat down and talked with me.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. It was an honor. I was like, I'll do it.
I love it. Okay, we're going. We love you. Bye-bye. See you in January.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to my mom's podcast, Let's Just Be Real. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, follow, rate, and review so you don't miss any of these honest and amazing stories. For all the behind-the-scenes content, go follow my mom at Jordyn Swingle on Instagram. And as always, let's just be real.